we are pleased to announce the latest Raid series collaboration for Final Fantasy XIV, the Carbuncle Chronicle. Hello, adventurers, and welcome to the Carbuncle Chronicle, your podcast for everything awesome in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Basil, and I am really excited to eventually get to play an evolved summoner named 4K Ridescam Leviathan.
I'm Anna. I am currently a warrior in Zadnord on Leviathan, and I'm excited for the expansion. I kind of want to play the two shields.
And I'm Tobias. I play Nanowise Silvestri, and we're going to spend the next 10 minutes talking about the color of my nose.
Oh, yeah. So we're recording this fresh off the presses. They just had the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival 2026 in Berlin, Germany. We've had the keynote, we had development panel. All sorts of things have been announced. We're going to talk about them. But also, welcome to anyone listening after Anna and I just got back from Otakon. This is going up before Otakon, but there's decent chance that people will talk to us at Otakon. They might be listening to it now.
You know, speaking of collaborations with the Carbuncle Chronicle and Final Fantasy XIV, if you do go to Otakon, the badges this year are Final Fantasy XIV themed, and they were actually done by Basil.
Yeah, it's true. In fact, it was... Yeah, that's how I spent most of the first half of this year. Like, a lot.
He was trying to get it done before NA FanFest, and he was telling the Square Enix rep knew that he was going, and that they were trying to get it done before FanFest.
And we got most of the way there, like, especially as far as what Square Enix needed to, like, approve or disapprove or what have you, by and large. Like, the base of the design had mostly been set, but there were still like little odds and ends, especially on the Otakon, for getting it ready for printing and the really cool holographicness that is in the meteor and then the logos and stuff, making sure that all worked correctly. That took a bit longer, but also, and one thing they haven't talked about, which I'm kind of sad, but I also get it, that the bottom of it says form your light party and there's these 4 little squares. Well, I designed little stickers based off of all the pixel art versions of the jobs. And theoretically, in the goodie bags or giveaway bags or what have you, they're supposed to be doing sticker sheets that you'll be able to get. And so you can place the stickers on your badge and you can form your light party. So even if you got a badge that was not the job you were looking for, you can still have your job representation on your badge.
Or if you're like me and you play all the jobs.
Then I guess you could just cover your badge with stickers, as long as the securities allow it and you can let you through.
Look, I'm getting a whole set of those badges, so we're going to have to frame these or something. I got to figure out how we're going to do that.
Like, we're going to have to get a shadow box so that will fit. Like,
yeah.
We're going to hit up IKEA or Michael's or something.
And then we're definitely going to be bringing back some Evercold lanyards.
Oh, hopefully that's, knock on wood. Hopefully we can grab some.
But yeah, no, that is something that like some people knew that he had been working on it, but it's been so exciting, and I'm really excited that they finally have shown off like images of it, and like there was even a post on the Lodestone because Basil worked really hard on these. He put in hundreds of hours on these badges, and they look so good, and I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, they look amazing, and you're able to work on something officially for the game. It's for the convention, but with the game, work with official, graphics and whatnot, and it's part of this is a really great moment for you. I'm very proud and very happy that you got to do this. I think it's great.
It's very exciting. It was such a pleasure. Square Enix was great to work with. Otakon was great to work with. I say Otakon, I mean we're also working at Otakon while we're there. But it was a great project. I absolutely loved working on it. I'm really proud of it. I'm really glad everyone seems really happy with them. And now it's done. So now I can podcast again. So here we are. We're back. We're back.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably the real reason like podcasts were a little slow, is because that was where all his time went. In between going to California and Atlanta and all the other traveling we did.
It's funny, you're like, now we're back. Guess who's back?
Oh, yeah.
Should have got a t-shirt.
Right.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That was we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, it didn't help that I was working at Otakon, but also working on Momocon's badges and MTAG badges all at the same time. Like my first half of the year I was just in the badge trenches the whole time. But
Graphic design, yeah.
so before we really dig into stuff, this is the Carbuncle Chronicle, your podcast, everything awesome in Final Fantasy XIV, part of the AwesomeCast family of podcasts, where we talk about everything awesome. There's also some other offshoots like the awesome interviews, where especially our guy John Robbins gets to talk to various voice actors in the industry. But we also do have the awesome table, where Dylan has taken that on, where there's lots of really cool tabletop roleplay discussions with him and myself and Tobias and our pal Nico. So all sorts of things for you to listen to at awesomecast.com. Our spoiler foods for this episode is stuffed Highland Cabbage. This traditional dish of minced meat seasoned and packed inside leafy Highland Cabbage, then stewed in a light broth, is sure to warm you up on the coldest of nights.
Man, I remember eating that for an expansion.
And will not give you diarrhea because it's been cooked. And
oh, no.
You know, it's funny. I found out this is not a panel that they have advertised, but Foxconn and Koji are going to be on a panel at Otakon that has to do with food in 14, and I was like, that's the most Carbuncle Chronicle like panel that could be.
Well, they've got. I think it's also there's this guy, and what he does, he makes really cute, cool little clay food.
Yeah, he makes like real life like looking food out of
Yeah. And I think he's also on that panel. I think that's a whole.
Yeah, it's his panel, but he's brought them in to make like 14 food. So I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really neat. I hope if you're listening to this and you're going to go into Otakon, have a good time at Otakon. If you went to Otakon, I hope you had a great time at Otakon. But all right, brief audio interlude, and we're talking about Evercold again about all the announcements from the EU FanFest in Berlin. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're talking Final Fantasy XIV. Again, there was just the fan festival in Berlin, and after seeing pictures and announcements and videos, I gotta say, we had a really good fan fest this year in Anaheim.
Yeah, I don't think NA got near as ripped off as we usually do. Like it looked cool. Like there was a lot of neat looking there's a lot of neat looking like photo ops that we didn't have that would have been neat. As a crafter, both in game and out of game, that is where I was like, man, that would have been fun to do. I would have loved to just sit there and craft all weekend.
I only watched the keynote and like maybe half of the sound panel that was mentioned. I just hadn't really had time to watch the entire thing from the stream.
We didn't really either. We had a couple of friends that are there, and then we've seen pictures on online, and
yeah.
And we caught most of the sound panel, and then. But also, like, for example, Anna's mom was coming in that day to stay the weekend. And so it's been...
The holy moly, I caught the very end of the Glamour to Life this morning. There was a perfect Alexander cosplay, and he was phenomenal. Nice. Apparently, he was walking around on stilts.
Oh, my God.
And, like, all the cosplays that I got to see looked amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, it impresses me just that people can even do that. But EU, I think, always just brings it.
Well, there's a reason why EU's team is a team that really puts together the outfit that Yoshida walks out to show off the first job, which coincidentally we now know it's the tank. It's got 2 big gun shields, and it's called Bastion.
Yeah.
Going in, I was thinking that, that's what everyone was expecting, like a double shield guy based on the shirt, every Titan shirt we had. It felt a little too on the nose, because I know a lot of the shirts in the past have been like fake out reveals.
Yeah, that was the most straightforward shirt we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Red Mage, I don't know.
Well, Red Mage didn't get a shirt. Red Mage was
Red
accidentally
Mage was
leaked.
Witch.
Oh,
Red
yeah.
Mage was Scarlet Witch. It's my favorite Marvel character. I remember that one.
Oh, that's true. See, I guess after the whole Sam Raimi Samurai Spider-Man thing, I think they just went too hard in the paint that they were like, okay, we can't get better than that. So let's just make a shirt. It's got Ratatan on it. And people are now guessing based on other things. We'll talk about it later about what the next job is. But we know what Bastion is. It is 2 tanks that have guns on them. And it's sort of got the sort of, high fantasy, but also mechanical, etherical thing going for it. It's going to be only evolved mode because that's what new jobs will be going forward. The shields are called
Skiltborg.
Yeah, Skiltborgs. They'll start at level 90. You'll get your quest started up in Limbs of Laminsa. And they even gave us a little bit of the concept, which it's from the Rogadins from the Northern Empty and Arslan. So that's cool. I'm glad that they're doing more stuff like that that's up there getting represented. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the job quest, while it starts in Limsa, especially since it starts as a 90 job, there's going to be a lot of old Charlian stuff involved.
Yeah, I think so.
So no, it looks cool. I am excited that we're getting another, quote, main tank, unquote, since now they're specifically in the evolved mode, we're now getting, quote, main tanks and off tanks where they both have different specialities to them. Whereas I think the main tanks, their job is to absorb the damage, and the off tanks is to reduce damage, is I believe the shorthand of kind of what they're going for, to be the sort of equivalent of pure healers and shield healers.
Yeah.
And it is kind of wild to think that if you're just starting the game, you only have access to one of those types until 90.
Yeah, that's true. Paladin's the only main tank now. Yeah, that'll be I guess Warrior would be the other one, the other version of that to begin with. But all the other ones are expansion content. Yeah, you're right. I guess that's kind of true for healers too. You only had White Mage and Scholar to begin with, so you really only had one choice until a little later. So I think they're banking on, you got to play through the game, or you want to give us that sweet money for the level skips, the job skips.
Well, at least for healers, right? White Mage is pure, but Scholar is shield.
Yeah.
So you at least have options in the base game for both types. Now, there also could be the fact that it's not, while there are main tanks and off tanks, that distinction may not be that important in reality, because even Yoshida and them have said it's only really important for like Savage and Ultimate level stuff.
Yeah.
Everything else
is going to be same thing with healer too. Like, there are differences, but you don't have to have a pure healer for normal content for 4-man tried dungeons, really. As long as you have one, I think that's fine. There's just going to be differences, and like you said, it'll really only matter when it comes to like in-game stuff and their nuances. I think people are kind of, there's been a lot of reaction to this idea that, warriors are not main tanks anymore, and a lot of reactions to what that
warriors
means.
Really have never been main tanks. I mean, I feel like they're only main tanks when you really need them to use their invuln more, because they have the shortest one.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be more of like a reaction to the community than it's not going to actually matter. It's not going to upset the balance. It'll be interesting because I think with evolved mode is there's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be we've already seen Paladin kind of extensively last FanFest, so we know they're going to change some things. We still don't know how they're going to change the other tanks like broadly. So there may be structural changes, but regardless, they said that like it doesn't really matter in regular content. It's only a big deal when you do this hard, the harder stuff, and you need that balance. It's just like DPS. Like you can queue into like leveling with a bunch of ranged DPS, and it doesn't matter. you wouldn't really want to do that in Savage. You would want to have a more balanced field, but it's not going to matter like in normal content, to be completely honest with you. I guess I will say, we watched a little video of how the Bastion works, and I didn't even want to theorycraft because we don't know anything about Evolve mode yet. They still didn't show us anything for like the mechanics behind the Bastion, unless that happened later today. I don't think there was a panel about this. Mm-hmm. We've only seen Paladins of our. They kind of mentioned the other roles, but it's at one point. At this point, I can't even theorycraft about how it works, other than just kind of watching the fun animations.
And they did mention that like they aren't showing that much right now because there's going to be a 4-hour or 3 to 4 hour job live letter, and that's where we'll get the job showcase trailer, and they'll go into it a lot more in depth. So like I'm honestly fine waiting for that, but yeah, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
After this FanFest, right, in EU, again, I was really impressed at how well we were actually treated as far as stuff getting revealed for the NA FanFest, because we usually get the base outline, and that's about it, and then they really fill it in at EU and JP. But this time, especially when they gave us that development panel where they showed off Evolve mode, they didn't really show it off here. Yeah. So that was something extra special we got in North America that they haven't talked about again, because they've got lots of other things they want to talk about and for us to listen to, which brings us to the next job, because now we know what Bastion is. We know it's a tank, but we also know there's a physical ranged DPS that we haven't gotten any hints until now. So the first thing, people, we do have a more extended trailer, which actually did show off the Bastion, as the cool Rogan guy that kind of looks like an older glow up version of Hoary Boulder, but not quite.
It's going to be Hoary Boulder's reflection, his reflection in the 4th. That's my headcanon until it's proven otherwise.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are hoping. Because, like, I know even the Grinding Gear guys were like, all right, it's the new tank has got to be Hoary. Where's Hoary Boulder? Like, from the beginning of the trailer. And I was like, man. But although they showed off Bastion really well, but good God, they showed off Reaper in a way that we've not seen before in a CG trailer. Like, I was watching Happy's reaction, and I agree. He was like, man, Reaper has never looked better, even though there was nothing new with it. But it looks so cool, and I that's one reason I love playing Reaper. It looks so neat.
We also got this cute little Makote or equivalent there girl. Oh gosh, they had a name for her.
Oh, started with an F.
I think it was like a V, like Virna or something like that. So I saw it. Somebody type it.
Her name is Visna. People are now thinking that she's the other job, maybe, possibly, because she had a cool little wand where she makes a little water glyph, and then this falcon bird thing shows up, and they fuss at each other, and the bird flies off. So maybe that's a hint. Maybe it's not.
The name Falconer has been thrown out so much.
Yeah, I've seen Falconer and I've seen Zephyr. Somebody mentioned Zephyr as maybe.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
That was the other one. But yeah, we did get another hint, because I even after the keynote, I looked at Basil and went, they gave us no hint for the Fizz range other than the little girl in the trailer, and we don't know for sure because she looks like she has a magic class. It looks like a magic class, like more than a Fizz range class. So I was like, huh. And then we get the sound development panel.
My initial thought when I saw that, because I saw it, I was like, man, did they really just show off the other one? Are we gonna get both today? Like, that's crazy. But then they didn't. And then it's like, they're smarter enough to not just show it and expect that to be it. So, like, maybe she's a Beastmaster? I mean, the idea of a Falconer is close to a Beastmaster. So, like, surely they wouldn't have 2 beast pet jobs back to back. That, I don't know, man. That just... It doesn't,
I mean, she could be something completely random.
Yeah, it just doesn't pass the sniff test, apparently. I don't know we get that sound effect as well, but, like, I don't know. I feel like it's a misdirect. I don't think that could actually be it.
My honest to God, my first thought, honest to 12 thought, when I saw her on the screen, I went, oh, that's our Sid for this expansion. Like that was my thought.
Okay.
I didn't even think about it as, oh, Falcon, physical range DPS. My brain was thinking, oh, Sid. This is our magical Viking Sid.
A lot of people have compared her to Hope from 13, which apparently this is a 13 expansion.
Yeah, I seen that.
I know nothing about it.
But again, we've been audio burying the lead because during the sound development panel at the very end, they were doing this little sound quiz where they were trying to get the audience to guess what sound effects they were playing. And at the very end, Soken goes, oh, I've got one. I bet no one's going to get it. And he goes out and he plays 2 sound bits. And he's like, I guess no one's going to know this until the other sound developer was Soken. That is from the new physical range DPS. No one knows what that is. And then they have a fixed security guard drag Soken off the stage. So here it is. Here are the 2 sound clips that we got to hear. Here they are.
Like, I'll admit, so the first sound for me, I was like, that's a freaking magic range. That is not fizz range. The second one, though, it sounds like my dancer skill a little bit, except for that's why I don't know if it's actually the wand, because you hear the falcon screech and then you hear 3 successive hits of some weapon, and so I think you're right. I think it's a misdirect in a way. But I think the bird is part of it. And I don't know. I still want crossbows. We're not getting them back. I still want crossbows. Although it sounds, watch it be, because honestly, the hits of the weapon sound very Reapery to me.
All right, I'm going to play it one more time because I think I've solved it. Obviously, the sound of yo-yos.
No.
Striking the enemy.
No. Okay, so the first sound could be summoning the bird.
Yeah.
But the second sound, it's like I said, this could be a Reaper skill. Like, the bird could be a complete misdirect. It could be a new Reaper skill for all we know.
And it could, not be much like how Alice is a red mage, but she was summoning her sword, her rapier, until they got her a fancy crystal one crafted for her.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of unique to her thing. For all we know, that falcon is actually like some sort of etherical construct. So it's actually like a magic bird that's used to send to do things. It may not be just if it is a bird, right? It may not be just a bird like you would normally think of a bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, a robot bird or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just, I don't know. That's the best clue we have at this point, seeing this new girl, but it still feels a little too on the nose. I don't know. I think at this point, I just gotta have to wait. My one hope has been dashed. I feel like no way can I interpret a blitzball and all that. So
Good. Football is never coming to this game. It does not need to come to this game.
Unfortunately not, because Gold Coaster still doesn't have blitzball. We'll get into that later.
Oh God, man. All right. So we did get a lot of lore drops where we also see in the trailer that we knew they had escaped to the skies. They said that, like, we're going to the 4th. It's all the land itself is frozen over. So everyone's living up on floating islands, but they're not islands. No, we're talking Xenoblade Chronicles 2 situations. They're all on gigantic ships flying through the sky. They're calling them Realmships or the 5 Firmaments or Fimhimnar because everything has to sound extremely Norse.
For a group, for this group specifically, to have a free company that has been named Odin Spear since Realm Reborn, this is our expansion.
It really is. It really is.
The names here for all these things you're about to say, they are actually Norse mythology concepts. I didn't really realize this. They're not just Norse sounding. Like the first one they showed, Naglfar, that's a thing. That's a real thing itself. So they're deep diving into some stuff. I know Final Fantasy's good about mythology pulls, but they're really digging deep for this one.
Yeah. Again, they either A, they really like Vinland Saga, but B, they really do. Yoshida loves One Piece, and One Piece has lately been living in its Viking arc because it's an Elpath. But it is really neat where they found an excuse because each ship has their own arc crystal, and each arc crystal that powers it is also based off a different element. So we have got 5 elements we're playing with here. So they know they can do different visuals based off the elements, right? But also 5 ships, that's 5 zones, and we have no clue what a 6th zone could be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, well, we know our 5 zones now, and the 6th one's going to be the big crazy pool. So,
but yeah, we got Naglfar, which is the realm ship of water, where they also showed Fargarth, which is the first player town. And it's really cool. Like, it looks like, what if Limsa was on a ship, but filled with dragons that may or may not be snakes.
They're snakes. I don't like it. They look like snakes.
It looks like a traditional like airship though. It really gives me the same feel of whenever a Gundam show has a space colony, and so they do the whole shot of you see the space colony.
Yeah.
And you can see like, just countryside, even though it's technically a cylinder, or in some of the Macross shows, like in Macross 7 and in Delta, they'll like just show like ships, and on the ships are just like cities and mountains and actual just countryside in these spaceships. I got that same sort of feeling when I saw Naglfar. Like, so the visuals for this are awesome.
I was glad because there was something that I was a little concerned about, and I'm glad they did bring up at Berlin that these, while they are airships, these are as big, if not bigger, than the normal zones we're getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My worry was that they were going to be just tiny. Like it wasn't going to be near what we're used to. But they're like, no, they are as big or bigger than the zones we're used to. So I'm scared, but also excited.
Yeah, I think my first reaction was, because we already know, like Basil said, we already know what the 5 zones are, just because of the way they've set it out. It already feels kind of limiting. Whereas, like in Dawn Trail, we know we were going to Tyrol, we didn't really know exactly how they were going to divide it up, but now we do. So despite all their protestations that they're not going to reveal too much, maybe they did a little bit to a degree, or at least that was my initial reaction. But I was very glad when they said, no, they're going to be a little bigger than usual. So I'm hoping we don't get literal Sea of Clouds again 5 times, but I do hope they take the time to give us large zones that have more stuff in them, because they're also promising more stuff to do in the filled zones as well.
They also showed off Horny,
the
realm ship of fire, which was all. It looks like, what if you had a gigantic dwarf town, but it was like a huge floating circle of just iron and molten lava. And I was like, all right. So I'm not so worried about visuals and things, and because I think each one of these areas are going to look just completely different than the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're going to get some wild visuals out of this expansion. I think it's one of the reasons why, especially after Dawn Trail. Remember, I am noted Dawn Trail lover. I adore Dawn Trail. But much like Stormblood, which I also enjoyed, all the zones did look geographically similar to each other in some ways. Like, they got around it with Heritage Found looking all lightning-y because of events there. So it didn't just look like more, Colorado. But here they can just do absolutely wild stuff. And it doesn't matter because it's another shard. They've done some crazy things to make everything like rise up into the heavens. They can do anything they want. Like, they don't have to worry about anything lore-wise potentially holding them back. They can just do whatever.
Yeah, it looks great, man. Like, Naglfar looks kind of airshippy, in that sort of sci-fi FF13 way, and it looks really great. But when they showed Ring Orne, like in the extended trailer, like, oh, it looks so good, man. The factory stuff around, one might even say, I'm a little horny for Ring Orne right now, if you know what I mean. I cannot, it looks great, man. The Bastion stuff they showed with it, great. I can't wait to see the other Realmships, because like you said, they're cooking. And they showed like a little slide that had all of them together, the concept art, and they're cooking, man. Like, they could be really interesting depending on what they show us.
I tell you, we're going to be in so much trouble when we go back home and Sid finds out we went to a shard of airships.
Right?
Like, if he's not
Right?
around, like, we are going to be in a world of trouble. Like, we already didn't bring him when we were doing time travel shit. Like, he was like, or, when we were building a ship to go to space, he was like, why did you not call me? So, yeah, if we're going to go to a shard with airships and we don't call him, we're going to be in so much trouble.
They also showed off what they're talking about with the main scenario and how they want to change things up a little bit. But so normally the way a lot of these expansions have gone, you start off, you pick, they'll give you the first 2 zones and you get to explore a little bit of each of those 2 zones. And you can do like zone A and then a little bit of zone A and then move on a little bit of zone B, or do a little bit of zone B and then do a little bit of zone A. But now they're showing like you're going to start off in a city and then you get to pick zones like B, C, or D, and you can do those in any order. But they also might have dungeons already involved. So it sounds like it's like the entire first half of the expansion is going to be you get to pick the order in, not just the very beginning of it. And they're doing some sort of level syncing or content syncing to it so that no matter what, including dungeons, so no matter what you're doing it in order, you're fine. And that does seem kind of wild. And I'm really curious to see how that plays out.
I will say every one of these, keynotes and presentations, there's always one thing that they take way too long to explain basic concepts for, because they know people are going to misunderstand, go out of the way to misunderstand stuff. This was the one for this keynote. Like, Machida, we know how nonlinear storytelling works. You don't need to have a diagram that shows 2 different things. But, there are people out there that need that because they're determined to hate the game one way or another. This is one of those things that I feel like I'll have to see how it plays out. It seems like a good idea. It also seems like it could turn out pretty surface level and like something we forget about. Like, you remember how they were touting us fighting the Scions and the Dawn Trail keynote, like, oh no, there's going to be, conflict. And it turns out there really wasn't really conflict.
I don't really feel like this is on that. No, yeah, that was a little. But, like, I do like that they were like, don't worry, there's not going to be anything majorly spoilery in any of those zones, like, for people to talk about. And I'm like, really? I mean, I just feel like, because, like, people are going to be like, I don't know. I feel like, and that's why I always do the dungeons, like, with Trust first. But,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, and when I saw this part and they talked about how the dungeons, will sync for every person, I couldn't help but think of a Cold Crescent, because the fights there, it doesn't matter what your knowledge level is. It syncs to your knowledge level as you go. So I feel like maybe that was a precursor, like a trial run for what they're doing here, which I think is great. The leveling in general is an MMOism that's always going to exist, but like 14's main mechanics are all battle, like movement mechanics and stuff. So you could easily scale that stuff. And I'm glad Cold Crescent has been doing that. So this is the way they want to go. I could see them iterating on the Cold Crescent stuff here.
Yep. They also showed more of the whole character action skins thing, which I knew we would probably get some older, job skill looks that we can slot into existing job level, job skills. Like if you want to have your old, the arrow, like the wind and the rocks for White Mage instead of shooting lasers.
Yeah.
You probably will get that. But then they went, oh, and by the way, here's how you can change the look of warping. And that's actually what we're going to start with. And I was like, wait, okay, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to see like the Highland warp and the Zodiac warp.
Yeah.
Let's do the Highland warp again. Like that was neat. That was cool. I'm kind of down with that. I like the idea that everyone can sort of pick what general skills they do. I would love to see some unique actual dig animations that we might be able to get for where we're doing treasure maps, right? Because instead of just looking around, with your hand in the, at your brow, maybe some actual like shovel action would be kind of nice to see.
Well, I mean, yeah, we have that with the fashion accessory. I'm a little surprised that we can't do that for maps, because the fashion accessory is pretty much digging for a map. Like,
oh, well, they've already got it set. Great.
That was just an example of something I'm excited to see as a general action that could be different.
I agree. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a market board thing, or there's going to be more market board things. That's the kind of thing that it feels very. I mean, there's going to be some that you can get in the game, but I really think this is their next fodder for the market board, or rather, not the market board, the cash shop thing. I can see them really using that.
Apparently, like, I know I was watching Jesse, his reaction to things, and apparently WoW does something similar, and there's like holiday versions.
Oh, yeah.
So I could see it being like event rewards.
Yeah. Well, we've already seen them really ramp up the cash shop stuff during Dawn Trail. I'm not going to spend a lot of money on that. I wouldn't spend the money on the Heidelin teleport, but there may be some stuff I may.
So, yeah.
So it's like, I hope. My hope is there's a lot in the game as it exists, that you can get behind achievements and, in gold saucer stuff. I'm really hoping they strike a good balance between stuff you got to pay for and stuff that is available to earn in the game.
I do wonder, because a lot of the cash shop stuff we get is predominantly offshoots of things they were doing in the Korea and Chinese regions, especially first because it was sort of Square Enix's make good because they were so behind on content, but now their content current.
Yeah.
So they could still do that, but I do wonder, especially to start this off, they're going to front load a lot of this stuff to be just in the game.
Right. I would hope that because he kind of mentioned like the old jobs and old job abilities. I'm kind of hoping that they just give us those to give us a taste because they've already made them, and then at least give you the old summoner stuff and the old bard stuff for the people that remember that.
Yeah, I think the only bard thing we would get would be the flip that you can do below a certain level. Because, I mean, there's not a whole lot of bard things that I can think of that we would want. But, like, summoner, that's going to be how they can possibly get different summons, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I know, I know Dragoons with the pole dancing. I know the Dark Knights want their plunge back. I'm curious to see if maybe Warrior gets a different. Maybe I can use Upheaval as my dash. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what it is, because I figure there's probably gonna be like a quest to unlock it, and like maybe whatever job you're on that unlocks something, and then you can like go in, kind of like how when you do like artifact gear, like once you unlock one, once the others are at that level, then you can unlock those or something. So I don't know. I'm curious. I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm
really interested that they spent this time to talk about a whole new game mechanic with emotional DPS. They're adding emotional DPS to the game.
That's always been there. That's always been there.
Oh no, for a lot of folks, it was the emotional DPS of the whole more character creation options. Where, like you mentioned earlier, Tobias, Lalafell and Vieira, like the sort of the darkened shades on their noses, you can take that out now, or will be able to take it out.
Boo!
So, that's the whole reason I don't choose a specific Lalafell race. Is I hated that, so I'm excited that that's gone. Like, I was looking at Cormia, she doesn't have like Yugi. I'm looking at my alt. He's got the darkened nose, but Cormia doesn't. So I'm interested because I don't like it. I'm so glad that's going away because I hated it so much.
I know that I've seen a lot of Mokote players. What they got annoyed with was the fact that they're referring to like the stripes as war paint, and that it was paint this entire time. Which, I mean, you can. That's all headcanon, man. Y'all can. It's okay.
I feel like that is. You didn't read the lore?
Well, I don't know how well they've gotten to the lore for that, and I'm not a Makote guy, so I'm not really the person to talk about it, right?
I read no lore on my classes. Like, there's a whole reason my name was wrong when I was a Makote, and even now as a Lalafell, like I've never read any of the lore for my races.
I know, for example, I also set up some people excited because in their heads they can now play trans Makote, where if they take away the stripes,
The eye thing.
in certain respects, that's something that they can do, to represent how they feel they could represent their character better. So
Right.
that's awesome. I'm just glad people have options. And I guess the whole big thing of Aura is that they've disconnected what horns you can put on Aura is now completely separate from what face you pick.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
for a while it was that what horns you got was part of the face you were picking. And now those are going to be independent of each other. So that gives a lot more Aura just options. And that one I think is just a straight up win no matter who you talk to. That's just great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that got the biggest cheer of everything. I will say I really, speaking of my Yugi alt, like I'm really looking forward to seeing if I can give him colored bangs. Like I want to see what the color picker changes are and what new options we have there. Though I was telling Basil, I was like, does this mean we're going to be getting free Fantasias every patch for Evercold again? Because I'm okay with this.
It might be.
At least we'll at least get it in 8.1.
Yeah, he did mention during this part, like, this is all part of the graphics update we started. So he wanted to reiterate that the stuff we did in Dawn Trail, like, is paying off going forward. And he's very, thank you for your patience. I'm sure you appreciate all those free Fantasias. But I agree, they're probably going to get another free one with the release of Evercold. And God knows if more stuff they add, we'll probably keep getting them.
Well, it's funny because we actually, and I don't remember I feel like Heaven's Ward did too. I may be wrong. But I feel like, or no, Heaven's Ward did. Stormblood may be the one I'm not sure about. We did get Fantasias with the new expansion. Because of the new races, they included new Fantasias with them. So I think it was Shadowbringers was maybe the first time that we didn't get one.
Also, they did mention they are trying to do new things in the overworld. They're currently their working title, and they said is not final in any way. They're calling it World Raid, where they're sort of taking inspiration possibly from things like Eureka Baja and Occult Crescent, where they're going to be doing more stuff that we get to do in the overworld. But I'm excited to see what they're actually talking about because they're so vague about it. I don't even know what they really intend to do with that.
Yeah, other than super fates, like I can't really wrap my head around it.
Unfortunately, at this point, it feels like just a thing they kind of want to do. I'll have to see it before I can judge it. I really wish they had showed more about this kind of stuff, other than talking about Lalafell noses for 10 minutes or how story progression works. Like, this would have been a great opportunity to show us a little more.
Yeah, but honestly, part of me, like, they kept mentioning that they've gotten a lot of feedback that people don't want them to show off as much. And I mean, I'm kind of in a little bit of that camp. Like, while, yeah, I'd like to know what it means, finding out on my own when we get into the expansion is going to be terrifying and we're going to die and it's going to be great. So I'm a little, I can understand why people want to know things, but then I'm also like, I'm cool with not knowing what this is until we get there.
I feel like for this case, they just don't know yet, because if they don't even know the name, if they're throwing out a fake name, I don't think they really hammered it out completely, to be honest with you.
To be fair, they probably just, the name may be the last thing they're thinking of.
Yeah, we'll see.
We got more of a name for this than we've gotten for the freaking new 8-person raid.
He lied to us. What?
Well, we now know there's a new, like, for the 8-person raid series, right?
You mean the new level of...
Yes.
Difficulty.
Raid. I was like, we know the name of the 8-pan raid.
No, there's normal, there's savage, in between there is... The new one. and maybe that is what they're going to call it, right? It's normal, the new one, savage, just like Spaceballs, too.
The new one.
I feel like it'll probably be advanced. Like, it's going to... Because that was the whole point of Merchant's Tale. Like, it's probably going to be advanced.
I guess I feel if they were going to call it advanced, they would have told us already at this point. But again,
unless they're trying to think of a better name and they just can't, they haven't come up with one yet. But
and remember, eventually, I forget what they ended up calling them, but the different die types, they were not sure what to call the die types, like up until like that patch hit, right? So
yeah,
who knows? But we know that now this raid series or the raid type, its difficulty is around the idea of an extreme, which I think is the perfect level of difficulty for this.
We knew that going in.
and that you'll be getting gear for it that you can upgrade as if it were Savage gear, just on a longer time frame.
I feel like this is kind of, and this makes me wonder what Alliance Raid is going to be like, because I feel like they're taking that type of gear upgrading and slotting it here. Because you know, with Alliance Raid, you wait until all three, and by the time you get all three, you get a coin from each one, and you can trade those in for what the Savage people have been getting, like the ester and the oil, you know, thread and all that. So I'm curious to see if Alliance Raid will continue to have that type of upgrade system for like super casual, or you know, or if they're gonna like transition to something different.
Yeah,
we'll see. That's very true. We do know that we are going to be getting something very different for gearing generally. So this may be the thing that slots into that, into the new, what do they call it? They don't even call it challenge log anymore. Season gear, and the weekly logs. Like, yeah, there's, and on that note, I'm a little disappointed they showed us the same placeholder graphic as they did last time for this stuff. Like, I was hoping that we would get a little more concrete information, but they really just repeated everything they said in Anaheim for the seasons.
Honestly, what we got is what I expected from Berlin. Like, Europe FanFest usually is pretty known for getting not much. Like, we get NA gets the initial, here's the title, here's, you know, but Europe does not get much when it comes to.
Well, sure, like generally, but half the time in Anaheim they were like, wait for Berlin, and we waited for Berlin, and we got stuff. Like, I want to be, you know, ungrateful for the reveals we did get, but like, this is a thing that they said wait for Berlin, and they didn't show more season stuff at all, really.
Well, technically, that was one of the wait for Tokyo's.
Oh, okay, got it.
Like, that was the whole thing with the, you know, the WAPs. Where I really hope they have. Speaking of names, like, I really hope they have a better name than weekly activity points, because everyone's just going to call it WAPs, and no one wants that.
I don't know about that.
No, I
so, but that was what they said, that they were saving that stuff really for Tokyo. They did show off, because they mentioned in Anaheim, they want to show off how they were going to make questing easier, and they did talk about a little bit here in Berlin, where it's the one thing where I'm like, y'all, we don't really need this.
The auto teleport?
The auto movement for quests.
You say that, but every time they auto do it, we get excited. So, and you can turn it off and turn it on. And honestly, for me, I'll probably turn it on and be like, let's go. But, or there's sometimes like, and this may be for like patch type questing. Like, cause you know, for expansion, yeah, I want to walk it cause I'm going to go look for aetherites aether currents while I'm there. But like, once you get through a zone and like you don't need to actually find anything, I can see that being very, very useful.
I don't know. I like the ability to walk places, and I mean, I'm also the guy.
You will get to keep that ability to walk places.
Will just go walking into zones just to go walk around in zones. So I can't look. I am not usually very negative or meh towards this game. This is the first time where I went meh.
Look, this is for those cutscene skippers that we don't associate with anyway. Let them do what they want to do. They have that option. We do not have to have that option on, and we can judge anybody that does.
Yeah, I feel this one of the situations where you get to walk around the zone. I'm going to get to walk around and get lost, and that's a feature for me. I don't think I will be. We'll have to see. You know, we'll see what they reveal. I don't think I'm going to turn this on ever, to be honest, but we'll see. It maybe is more useful. You know, if they're changing, I hate to say it, but if they change the narrative a bit to make this make sense, then it could be useful. I'm just not. It really feels like this is a reaction to people who complained about the Talk to Wooklamot quest, and they're going to just automate it. That's the reaction my first reaction is they're just automating it for those people. And I don't think.
If that's what people are complaining about, they need to go back and play Realm Reborn again.
Yeah, I really hope.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it's to help get people through Realm Reborn faster. You know.
Yeah.
So it depends. It just depends on what they want. Like, unfortunately, they're listening to the people that were complained loudly, and if you don't complain loudly about something, they don't know about it.
Yeah.
And this is also something that a lot of, especially Korean games and gacha games, will also do. So I also get it that this is part of the whole keeping up with the times.
Yeah.
But one thing that you don't get a choice on, and everyone's fine with it, the cross-region player matching and Party Finder starts in Japan on October 12th. And then once they
Yay.
have it stabilized, the rest of us get it too. So we'll have the one, regional duty and Party Finder. So it's going to really help queues. It's really going to help people can stay on their home servers. You don't have to travel to Aether to do everything raid-wide, raid-wise. Like this, they probably won't have to deal with going, okay, now this is the PvP server for this patch. Now this is the PvP server for this patch. Like it can just be, stay on your server. It's great.
Hell yeah.
I liked how Koji was like, there's going to be so many more hits in Party Finder. I'm like, good. Maybe I can actually use the search function instead of just scroll through the 5 parties on Primal.
And then y'all, we're getting more Chocobo stuff. We're getting more Chocobo stuff.
Sort of.
They're sort of, well, eventually also, it's not immediate. It's while they really went into this, and it's coming in 8.1, but they're changing up Chocobos where one, they're introducing the concept of dungeoneering, which is a great name. Don't change that one. You got into one.
And you flat out called it like before. I don't even think they mentioned Chocobos even. Like they just mentioned, okay, we're going to talk about something else next. And you went, let me take Chocobos into dungeons. And then they said it. And I was like, how the fuck did you know this?
This is what we've always wanted.
I do think you called it before, because if you mentioned that maybe in the past few months that you were expecting a Chocobo overhaul. I thought that was out of left field, and surely no, they wouldn't do that, Basil. What do you mean? And you did it. You've caused this to happen. Thank God.
Just another example of Yoshi actually listening to this podcast.
So the whole concept of dungeoneering is that 2 people and 2 Chocobos can go do dungeon content, which is great for example, myself and Anna, if we want to go have a 14 couples date in a dungeon, and we can take our Chocobos with us. Or Garrett and Kyle from Grinding Gear, they can just go do stuff. If their chat's unruly,
chat makes them mad, yeah. Chat makes them mad. They don't have to go.
Yeah, this is great. I've had a lot of newbie players, in the past couple of years that they show up, and we had duty support, but it's like I kind of want to play with them. They kind of want to play with me, or they want to play together, like couples playing together. And you kind of can't do duty support with one other person. It's either all or nothing. And they don't really want to play with try-hard people, to start off with, because they're a little scared. They'd rather just want to play with me or their partner. So you can do that now. You just have to get your Chocobo, but you can play just with your partner, just one other person, and still get that sort of calm experience without worrying about the guy complaining about you're not pulling fast enough, or we're doing wall to wall or whatnot, that kind of stuff that a little daunting when you're a new player, straight up new. So I think this is going to help onboard new players a lot.
Yeah. Apparently, they're also now going to be incorporating Chocobo breeding into this.
I don't want it. I hate it in Gold Saucer. I don't want it.
I was surprised that was going to be a thing. They mentioned Gisselgreens. They're going to get a re-examination of its effectiveness and usage. They're going to be changing up how base commands work. They're getting a full revamp. So they're putting a lot of work into Chocobos, which is awesome. I'm really excited.
They've needed it. It's been too long.
Yeah, I haven't thought about my Choco companion in many expansions at this point.
Oh Lord, watch Thavnarian onions come back with a vengeance.
Right?
They showed a lot of Chocobos with different class-based gear on, and I know those are just aesthetics you can pick currently, but I kind of hope the implication is you have a white mage Chocobo, a healer Chocobo, or
you can
Chocobo. Get a little more than just the basic archetypes that we have. I want them to do more if we're gonna for the dungeoneering stuff.
Yeah, I really think they're gonna have a little more customization to what kind of DPS you're dealing with. You might be able to do ranged versus melee, for example, or do more stuff with healing where it's not, or they're just not throwing regen on you constantly, and that's all they're really doing.
Yeah.
you can set a Chocobo to tank mode, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
any real actions you do, you just you just peel it right off the Chocobo right now. So
Yeah.
I could totally see them like actually turning the Chocobo so it could actually be a tank, which would be nice, especially if they're doing more with the overworld stuff. Then, if there's more things to do besides just fates, that would be really nice to have my Chocobo companion alongside me actually doing something. That's great.
Mhm.
But speaking of things we can actually do, 24 of us even, they did show off a slightly updated trailer that you can only actually watch until October 2026 because anime music copyright's the worst.
Yeah.
The new 20-person raid, Evangelion Ghosts of Desire, where they showed like a cool looking version of that was more veiny.
Like horns. Yeah, had like veins and horns on it. Peanut one, that is.
And they also mentioned that we have a special guest artist and designer, Mahiro Maeda. And that's when I went, oh shit, that's real. That's a real ass Kara, like Gynax person.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Like this is not just Yoko Taro, whatever he's doing with Ava, right? This is Ava.
Yeah. Maeda's been around for like since the beginning. He had a lot of big work into, they mentioned the Rebuild movies and Mad Max Fury Road, but like Mahiro Maeda is like old school. This is just as good as getting Anno like name dropped.
Yeah, like he did design work. He was one of the main directors for 3.0 and 3.0 plus 1.0 with Thrice Upon a Time. Like he did a lot of the design work for Gunbuster and some key animation for Gunbuster. He's worked some for Magic Users Club. He was like the director and writer of Ganketsuo.
Mm-hmm.
And what really made me pay attention, he also did design work on like Shin Kamen Rider and Shin Ultraman, but he designed Godzilla for Shin Godzilla. He's done kaiju design for Gridman. This is the person you want designing cool ass stuff, because it reminds me that the creator of Garo, while they did Garo stuff with PvP, right, he was also the designer for the fights for the bosses for the Evilise raids. So hearing that this guy is involved made me like set up more so for this raid series. Like this could be something. This really could be something. And I like, first I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. Now I'm like, oh man, this could be good.
It was funny because when they played the trailer, it was stuck on the last part with the new Unit 1, and it played the audio, but like they made a point to like, whoa, stop. They made the production team reboot whatever they were doing and go back. And you could tell that Yoshida was very proud of Mahiro Maeda being here and wanted to make sure that he was called out. Like they made a big deal about it. And I know that he's done panels and stuff where he's talked about his love of Ava and Gundam and all sort of anime stuff. So this is absolutely the weeb in Yoshida talking during this part. You can see his face light up as he was talking about it. Like, yeah, he's one of us.
Yeah, this is one of those things where, doing an anime podcast for like, 12, 13, 15 years, where I know a lot of people like, there's this guy, oh, he worked on Mad Max. And I'm like, y'all, he's worked on so much more than Mad Max. Y'all don't get it. Yo, this is important. This is good. This is, oh shit, man. Come on. This kicks ass. Like, oh, y'all, they got Mahiro Maeda. Come on. Like, I am pretty sure we probably even talked about this guy in our awesome cast of Evangelion, where we went through all of Evangelion and that currently exists in anime form that you can find at awesomecast.com/Ava. No, really go, listen, we cover the TV series, cover all the rebuild movies. Tobias submitted a bunch of questions at the time. Like it's a pretty thorough, let's talk about Ava as a podcast series. I'm really proud of that one. So if y'all like Ava and y'all haven't listened to it yet, please do. And then the wild thing started happening where they brought out the director.
I'll have you know, I called this. I did this a la Basil. Like we were sitting here, like, I knew they were going to mention the 8-man. I was like, watch it be like 7. Watch them actually do something 7. And then he announced the next person. And I'm like, God damn it.
Naoki Hamaguchi, who is the director of the Final Fantasy VII Remake series.
To be fair, they didn't announce him first. They said, listen to this track to get a hint for the trailer. I had it within 3 notes. Like, the 3 notes happened, I went, oh my God. And I think Basil got it, like, right after. And I was like, oh, it's Sephiroth.
So it's, Sephiroth. Like,
oh, God. He's going to be the new Kefka. I don't want to see him anymore.
So, yeah, it's called Beyond the Lifestream. And but again, they mentioned that, they said it has the same structure as all the other tiers. And of course it does. But the story is written by Motomu Toriyama, but also Kazushige Nojima is supervising, and Tetsuya Norma is going to be the art design. So it's a lot of the people who are working on this.
I was going to say, just to kind of butt in, I'm not familiar with Motomu Toriyama, but I'm pretty sure Kazushige Nojima was done like the major overarching like supervision for the remake trilogy. I'm pretty sure it's the guy that wrote the novels, the side novels they've been doing. So these are pretty big names, even though if they're not like Nomura level names. They pretty much got the remake team all in on this.
Yeah. So, for example, Motomu Toriyama, he's worked on things like he was the event director and scenario writer for Final Fantasy X. He was an event planner for 7. He also was a scenario writer for like Racing Lagoon and Bahamut Lagoon. He was the director of Final Fantasy X too.
Oh,
so he worked on some of the Crystal Chronicles games. He was the scenario supervisor for the first Dissidia. He was the director of Final Fantasy XIII. So
this is the 13 expansion. I've said it once before. Yeah, it's the 13
and he's also the co-director of the 7 remake games.
Okay.
So like this guy is as big as anyone. And Nojima, I believe he was the original scenario writer for things like 6 and 7, and he's the guy who sort of supervised. So like when a lot of people say, oh, look, they're doing a Nomura, it's usually actually Nojima.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember that's where I saw this guy's name before. Because of the wild stuff that people blame on Nomura for. You're right.
But yeah, so this is, again, these are people that if you want to this actually be like Final Fantasy VII important, these are the people that you want involved. And I'm really curious to see how this actually works out, because 14 has had different levels of how much they put into something. For example, you get things like the Crystal Tower raid series or the Evilise, or what happened at the end of Endwalker with the Force stuff, where they really take their time and they really put in the work to make this feel as much a 14 thing natively as it would be a reference to the other Final Fantasies. Then you got stuff like Omega, or even the 11 raid series, right? Where it feels very much more like, hey, you remember this? You like that, right? Well, here it is, and it's in 14 now. Isn't that great? And I don't know what we're going to get out of these 2 raid series. Oh, there's also the third type, which is Nier, which actually where everyone thinks it's like Omega and whatnot, but it's actually more like Evilise, but it's in reverse, where Nier has just come in and parked in Final Fantasy IV's parking space, idles around for a little bit, then drives back off. Like, it's incredibly diegetic to Nier. It just happens to be taking place in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, it's tough to say how much this is going to tie in, because we don't know. They haven't told us anything about this yet, so it could go either way. I don't know. Like, the thing about the 7 is for a long time, it's been considered that the 7 crossover was going to be the break glass in case of emergency content, when the game is really on its last legs. So when you think about the discourse around Dawntrail, it's kind of hard not to feel a little wary.
I think that's stupid. I've seen so many people post about that. I'm like, they did it because the last part's coming out next year.
Sure,
like, it's not... 14's fine. I don't give a shit about all these people that are making headlines saying it's a dead game, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Don't play it. Get out. I don't want you here.
Honestly, I think it's the reverse of this. I think the 7 side really wants the 14 players to go back and play their 7 game that the second one did not sell nearly as well as the first one.
We haven't played it. We've only played 2 hours of it. So like I told Basil, said, well, at least we know we got to beat it by January.
So the first game, Final Fantasy XIV Remake, started off on PS4, which has a ginormous player base, right? There's so many consoles for PS4 sold that it sold like hotcakes. Whereas Rebirth was only on PS5, and the PS5 wasn't nearly as entrenched overall as the PS4 was, and it did not sell very well at all. In fact, Final Fantasy XVI, which everyone would tell you sold terribly, still sold way better than Rebirth did initially. So I think, especially with Revelation coming out, it's very much y'all, we got to make this big. We got to make sure it's on all the consoles. It's on PC, day and date, everything. PlayStation 5, Xbox, Switch 2, PC. Let's get it out there. And I really think that we're getting this raid series. This is not, oh no, Dawntrail breaking case of glass. I think this was Rebirth breaking case of glass. Let's use 14 to help promote it.
Sure. The timing does work out for the third game, and I see where you're coming from. It does feel, I'm not here to like doomsay anything, but there's been a lot of the CEO class wants more out of these games, and their games aren't selling like they want them to. The fact that a 7 remake is not doing gangbusters is wild, because 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when they showed off that PS3 demo, that's all everyone ever wanted. And we finally got it. And just like Dawntrail, a lot of people complained about it. A lot of people don't like the way Remake is stretching things out. They don't like the combat. I think that's silly. I love FF7 Remake's combat. I think it's great.
I like the combat. I'm right there with you.
It's great. I don't mind that they stretched out like Remake, because I like the additional context. I agreed with you, and then I played maybe like a couple hours of Rebirth. I put it down because there's just a lot there. I think they maybe could have chopped some down. But it is strange that we live in a world where the remake games didn't sell like they wanted. They should be selling like hotcakes. So I do think they realize, oh shit, maybe the FF7 nostalgia is finally waning. Now we've got the FF7 players back in the day are now old. Like they're our age. Yep. We're not getting younger. They're dying off. So like if we're going to cash in on this smart crossover, we got to do it now while the iron's hot, while Revelation is still, because even if we assume Final Fantasy XIV is doing great, it's amazing, and they wouldn't do this break last case for emergency situation until like 3 or 4 expansions, the FF7 nostalgia iron isn't getting any hotter. So it's just a good opportunity to finally go ahead and do it and be done with it. We'll have to see what happens with the story implications. It could be either way. The only thing I want to fight the Airbuster, and I want to fight the Hell House. If I can fight the Hell House,
oh no, that's gonna be a floor. Oh no.
Yeah, yes, I want to fight the Hell House and the Airbuster, and as long as they give me that, I will be. And as long as we get a Soken remix of the Genova theme, that's what I want.
Oh no. I didn't even think about the fucking house. I forgot about that. Oh man.
Let's go.
And then later you'll be able to type in the words Hell House, because we finally found out the big gold saucer update, and I don't think anyone had this on their bingo cards. Anyone. I know that Tobias accidentally hung out with Austin and called the Ava raid before anyone else did. But this one, I was Keybound Brawler, y'all. We're getting Typing of the Dead, but it's in Final Fantasy XIV now.
Amazing.
See, now, Maybe I'm too young, or I don't know what these are. I've never heard of these.
Like Typing of the Dead was like typing sort of game, but like every word you typed in was like a shot and shot a zombie. There was like a Mario teaches typing. Likewise, these games were very popular way back in like the early '90s when they were teaching kids how to type. For real. There were a lot of like these typing sort of games. So this is
maybe I played one in high school, but I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, this would have been like a long, long time ago when these were not like super popular, but they were a thing. And it's been a minute. This is a deep cut, an old cut for sure. Certainly a 1997 ass cut. They were very appropriate that they did the FF7 as going to be the first theme for Keybound Brawler. And like it's going to be a multiplayer thing, which is cool. I figured it would just be a single player thing, but like if you can queue in with 3 other people, and do this, and like they kind of like there were lanes it looked like, or people would take certain lanes or like pick certain words. When we were at Momocon this year, they actually had a Typing of the Dead arcade machine that we played. So like it was me and our friend Zell. We were side by side, and this arcade machine has like deadass has a keyboard right there. Like it's a Japanese keyboard, but you kind of type in English Romaji, and like the Japanese words. So like everyone you type shoots a zombie. So we're having to like call out which ones we're doing because we don't want to type over the same words. So I imagine it's going to be kind of like that, where you're going to have to organize and strategize a bit who's going to focus on which enemies to attack. So yeah, this is, I mean, it's no blitzball, but at least we have this. Like I'm happy.
I swear though, like even Basil has been talking about snowboarding forever, and when they showed the 7 gold saucer, I went, "Are you kidding?" I was like, "Are we really getting snowboarding?" I did not think he would actually do snowboard because I know how much Yoshi P wanted to put into snowboarding. I didn't think we'd get it, but for a second, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Was Basil right about snowboarding?"
Yeah,
and
that's because snowboarding is my favorite Final Fantasy VII minigame. Like back when you could have feature flip phones, they actually ported just the snowboarding minigame to the flip phone, and I bought it, and I aced all of it. Like if there were actual leaderboards, I probably was high up on it. Like I loved the Final Fantasy VII snowboarding minigame, adored it. So when there was a possibility that I could actually get that in 14, that is my blitzball. That's the one I would love to see happen. Right? I was not expecting Typing of the Dead. That really, when Yoshida mentioned how, I started this project when I was like 37. Now I'm 53. This is your example. This is that Keybound Brawler. And he was so excited to talk about this. Like he was like lit up, and he's like, "Oh man, we can, and this could just be one thing. We can do all different versions because this is really easy to add in whatever things you want. We want to do Dragon Quest, we can do Dragon Quest. We can do Final Fantasy, we can do Final Fantasy VII. We can do anything." And
when they did Dragon Quest, I looked at Basil went, "Really?"
And it's wild. I mean, and we're also going to get like Tifa and Barrett outfits. They're making his gun arm a fashion accessory.
I called that. I was very excited.
Yeah,
I really feel you could tell the age gap between the two Naokis, Hamaguchi and Yoshida, where Hamaguchi was very confused as to why, when they decided to do collab stuff, this was part of it. Like he was like, I don't get it, but is this making you happy? And she is like, and we can do this and that and Keybound Brawler, y'all. And I'm like, man, this is wow.
I'm very glad that this is not a temporary thing like Fall Guys, as far as I can tell. So there will, maybe being always FF7 room and the gold saucer now, like you take the elevator to go to a different floor, and maybe the FF7 version's there. But since this is going to be a permanent thing, I'm very glad to get another attraction.
I did like when they first showed it, I was like, "Is Godbird expanding? Like, are we getting a franchise gold saucer? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah, in the 9th, put it in Solution 9. There you go.
I do wonder if more of that, like Solution 9 type stuff, that might actually be where we do some of the Final Fantasy VII raid series beyond the live stream, because it doesn't really, because it's very, again, they showed off a screenshot of Midgard where you got Cloud and Sephiroth, and I don't feel that Midgard, I mean, I guess you could put it somewhere in the 4th. I mean,
if you're talking beyond the live stream, I would assume it would be somewhere in Old Charlian or in Idyllshire.
It feels like that style of technology would also still slot really well in on the 9th, or something more cyberpunk influenced. So I'm just curious to see what they do with it, right?
Well, basically, you just said it. Like, it's Midgar. Midgar is a Norse concept.
I mean, that
true. It's
freaking
true.
the airship with that looks like Oz's Law. That looks like Midgar. Like that's probably gonna be there.
Yeah, it could be on a realm ship.
Could just be more Alligans.
Yep. Look, I would not put it past the Alligans to do anything. With all the stuff that Sephiroth had to go through, I assume that they would do that.
Yeah, they're
right up there.
Hojo and the Alligans would get along like
very well.
A piece of pod. Yeah, think about Amon and Hojo together hanging out.
Nope. Do not do. We're not bringing him back.
Athena.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I even then I was like, Athena is just a female Hojo. She's just
I think Hojo would Hojo would make La Habrea seem sane.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect transition point to say, hey, that Switch 2 version's coming out on August 4th.
Yeah, like next week.
So, I will say, first going back, I have seen fan art of Xenos and Sephiroth together. Just saying. That's terrifying. But yeah, I was like, they said, yeah, it's going to come out on August 4th. I went, really? The day we fly back from DC? Like, I can't even play 14 on my Switch while on my trip.
Right after.
Like, I'm excited, but I don't want to spend $42 right now on that. I got a new car. I got a car payment that just came out today.
The thing about this, though, poor Koji and Foxclaw, they're probably spending their last moments in Berlin, then immediately flying to DC, then doing Otakon, then flying back to Japan.
Yeah.
So they're going to be jet lagged like hell.
Yeah.
They also did show off, and I was surprised they showed off the collector's edition so soon. I assumed that was going to be a JP thing.
Yeah.
But they showed it off, that we've got a new Yoshitaka Amano art of Reaper. They showed like a Reaper, really cool looking Reaper figure.
The figure looks great.
An Ethos, metal keychain, a Tapestry of the Fourth, but a really cute Koter, the little cat people they showed off during Anaheim as a plush.
I did appreciate they showed the keychain and the little plushie, and Jesse was like, wait a minute. He comes back, he's got the Asm keychain and the Lopper. He's like, I got them all. He's like, I already had these at home. So, but I am excited. Like I told Basil, it's like crap, especially for the Ethos keychain and the Reaper statue. I was like, we're gonna have to buy it. But I will say this is the first time I've been really excited about the collector's edition digital stuff.
Oh yeah, like the Valhalla Odin mount from 13. So we're getting all the best parts of 13, which is all the visual stuff and sound stuff. So not the actual plot of 13. It's great.
I know. I blame Theatrhythm that I recognize that music, and I blame Theatrhythm for that. Because I was like, wait a minute, I know this. Why do I know this? And of course, it's the Valhalla Odin mount, and I was like, really? This is our expansion. It's our FC's expansion. I'm so excited. And then of course we're getting the hold the crystal emote. So I'm really happy about that. And I mean, I know people that make videos and stuff like on TikTok and whatnot, and I'm excited to see what they do with that.
I do think it was funny that we got the name reveal for one of the Alliance societies, not in the keynote itself, but through the little tchotchke, the cooter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what they're called. Why didn't you tell us that earlier? Like,
I thought they did tell us that. Maybe not.
No, they did not.
I don't remember the name.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because remember Anaheim, they didn't they didn't actually term anything.
That's right. Because he was trying to keep it a secret that it was Norse, even though we're like, Yoshi P, it's Norse. He's like, wait, how did you know? Look, you got a bunch of nerds in a room. You had the nerds that picked out the Evangelion music, and we sitting there going, "This shouldn't be here." No, I'm afraid to know how much it's going to be, but I'm excited about that collector's edition. You're right. I think usually they wait. I just wonder if they had it nailed down, like what they were putting in it, like super early. Because usually we get it and we know how much and when it's going on sale. This time they just were like, "Hey, here this is." So
yeah, it looks cool.
These items feel pretty much like shoe-ins. Like we got a figure like for most of these, right? Because we've got
a figure every collector's expansion. Yeah.
So like we knew they were going to focus on the Reaper as being the iconic job this time. Ethos is a shoe-in. Like Ethos is a great little thing.
Well, I never really imagined what the statue is going to be because it's not always the job. Like the last three have been like Endwalker, Dawntrail, and now Evercold. They've all been the jobs. Shadowbringers was Dark Knight, but Stormblood was Xenos, and Heaven's Ward was Race. Was it Needhog or Racefogger? I don't remember. It's a dragon.
That was Midgard Stormer. I forget. It was dragon.
It was Midgard Stormer. That's right. They have now gotten in the habit of doing the jobs, but I kind of never want to assume that it's going to be the job statue.
Yeah.
Just because I know I've got a statue of Xenos downstairs that I would never buy if I knew who he was at the time.
Yeah. These feel like, the other things, like the ethos feels like it's a great little icon. Like I like the way it looks. The cooter, like that's obvious, like a little cute little, those are really popular now, the cute little animal keychains. The tapestry they kind of show in the first trailer anyway, so like that's a really good shoe, and that's the thing that I really would like is the tapestry because it looks really cool.
I will say, Jesse made a comment. He said, "I kind of wish it was like a mouse pad," and I was like, "Ooh, that would have been pretty."
Oh yeah, I can see.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, so these feel like pretty. These nothing feels like out there, like it feels these are pretty typical choices. The biggest one is for me is the Valhalla Odin. Yeah, I know that we got the arc last time from FF9. That was kind of a deep cut, maybe. So this feels like a deep cut, but also like, ooh, yeah, it's like Odin. So, it's Norse in itself, and it's the FF13 one that we're pretty sure they're gonna do a lot more FF13 stuff. So that's a really cool thing, and it looks cool.
I did not expect it to transform like that. I thought that kind of surprised me, just because I don't know anything about it, but. And of course, the model that's flying is Cruise Chaser, but I still thought it was really neat to watch the horse transform. So I'm excited, and I love the music. Like that might be one of my favorite tracks from 13. But
yeah, I like the cool little the Bastion's crystal crystal
tower. I'm excited about those.
I hope that they are like decent weapons, not just good glamour. Because the last few times,
that's
level 1 glam.
Oh.
Yeah, they'll always be level 1 glam.
Well, I know previously we got like the earrings that have a use.
That will be a pre-order bonus. They haven't announced that yet.
Oh,
we'll get an earring. Got it. They'll announce probably in Japan the pre-order earring.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool. I mean, I'll do what I did the last few times and just get the digital collector's edition, so it has that and
that's what we tend to do: one physical and then one digital.
Got it.
So we gotta wrap this up soon, but. From the keynote, what are you looking forward to most?
I want to see a Lalafell with those Skillborgs. I want to see a Lalafell with those because I am so I no one's gonna take Warrior away from me, but I'm looking forward to just punching and shooting things with my shields.
From what we saw today, I just want to see more of the areas. Like I said, I really horny for horny, but like I would like to go. I actually want to go there. I want to see things. I really do like walking around in these zones. I think since we know so little about things broadly, we still don't know about the old man Ara. We don't know about the old lady that's talking. We don't know about this new Mikode girl. There's so much stuff. I'm ready to be on the 4th and like walk around and on the Realmships. That's really what I'm looking forward to. I mean, generally I want more of an evolved mode, but they haven't showed evolved mode, so we'll save that for the next podcast we do when they eventually show it off. But
either that or the job showcase. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I know they're not. They may show more on it. I'm looking forward to the job showcase because that's always the trailer itself is always like, what the crap did we? Like you're watching your class going, what did I just do? Like I remember, for some reason I don't remember Dawntrail being as easy to figure out just because it was very. No, that was the I don't remember. That was the trailer, but like. I remember watching going, what did Dancer just do there? And I was like, it's always fun to watch, to watch that trailer and then for them to go into it. And I'm telling you, I'm going to be learning 23, 24 new jobs come January. And it's going to be, maybe I'll actually like Ninja this time. So
our friend, Bill has been doing a thing where he's trying to get every job to 50. Because he wants to be able to like see the new kit. He doesn't necessarily want to level them all up to 100, but he wants to get everything to 50 before the Evercold comes out. And I feel that. So like I finally picked up Archer. I'm like really early in Archer just recently. I picked up Reaper. I don't know if I'm going to do every job because it's a lot, but I definitely want to pick up the ones I haven't done yet and try to get them to 50 so I can at least play with the base kit.
Square Enix, this would be a great time because I know you're listening to bring back the Yokai Watch event. because that is the event that caused me to level all the jobs to at least 40.
There you go.
Because we were doing it was fates in a Realm Reborn areas, because that's what was all we had at the time. And so once I hit 40, the max level of whatever zone it was, I was like, well, I'm just gonna choose a new class. That is the reason I leveled every job. So I say bring it back. It's time to bring it back. It's a good time for people to get jobs leveled and get ready for it.
Hell yeah.
So the thing I'm looking forward to is Chocobos. What's funny is that
it's the closest you're going to get to Chocobo racing updates, Basil.
God, man. That's why I didn't mind if they included snowboarding, because that'd be a different racing I could do, right?
Yeah.
But my first thought was Bastion, honestly, because I want to see Lalafels with shields rolling around. But then Anna took that. I'm like, well, I really want to explore all these cool Realmships. Then Tobias took that, and I'm like, well, damn it. But I am really excited for new Chocobos. I'm sad that they won't be done until 8.1. Like, it's not going to be during actual 8.0. But they said it's taking more time. It's taking more effort. They thought they'd have it done sooner, but they realize they're not. Like, it's a lot of work that goes into this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
I do appreciate that everything they announced, they have said 8.0 or 8.x or 8.1, but not 8.x, because I think that hurt them a lot for Dawntrail, because they announced Beastmaster at the NA FanFest to come in 7.x. It's going to be in the very last patch of the expansion, and that was a very bad move. That is like one of the few negative things I will ever say. It's like that was not a good move. And Basil, we were showing whenever they showed like the cat looking boss, and they showed another boss, like or not boss, like some mob monster next to each other. And Basil went, all right, I wonder which one's the final boss of the final dungeon, because they showed us the Eliminator at NA FanFest and got a lot of hype for it. And then it was the last boss of the last dungeon. And it was like, really? Those were the two like biggest disappointments for me between FanFest and the actual expansion. So I'm glad that they're like, hey, this is either coming in on launch or 8.1. Like they're not making like far out promises for the expansion, and I appreciate that.
Right. Yeah, that's
and and they did show off a bunch of monsters right near the very end. And Yoshidi's even like, maybe we shouldn't be showing these. We tried to bunch them all up to make it, busier and harder to really piece things out. But yeah, some monsters. Here you go. And I think they've been hearing this. I think, because I know for me, if I had to complain about anything for Dawntrail, for me personally, it's that they showed off Solution 9 at all.
Yeah.
That they showed off that stuff when they did. I would have loved to have gone into Dawntrail not knowing it existed at all. I get why they did. It's so different visually. It's such a wild thing to have all this cyberpunk aesthetic in my fantasy game that I probably wanted to get out ahead of it. But man, to have gotten it completely unknown, that would have been perfect. That would have been great. So I'm really hoping they're taking those complaints to heart, and that's why they're being careful about what they are showing us now.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, Anna's right. Like, for example, they showed off Blue Mage for the first time at the NA FanFest for Shadowbringers, but it showed up technically within the Stormblood
it was in the
frame.
Next, it was within that next patch they were going to be putting it in. Yeah, they gave us the trailer for Blue Mage and went, yeah, it's coming in whatever point. I think it was 0.5 or 0.5.2 or something. Like it was they announced it and it came out. Like it wasn't this is coming next expansion, it's coming now.
And that was kind of what they also did with Ninja, right? Where it came out like right before Heavensward did.
Yeah.
And this time they were like, hey, we're doing a limited job. It's going to come out at the end of Dawntrail. But now we're at the end of Dawntrail, right? And so now we're in the midst of the Evercold hype. They probably should have just saved that for Evercold. But honestly, maybe that's not bad, because they would have probably promised us Blue Mage stuff that they won't be able to do within Dawntrail. And so that would have felt worse.
Like, I feel like the Beastmaster release is actually pretty smart in that people are going to go in and do the last part of the story. And then now they've got a few months to do nothing, because people think there's nothing to do in this game, and I don't know why. But they have nothing to do. Well, you've got a whole new class to level. You've got a whole new class to catch all the Pokemon, to go through the book thing. It's Mr. Ozma. It's not going to be easy. So, like, I feel like it was smart. That gives something specific for people to do up until Evercold, but don't announce it at the FanFest for the expansion. Like that's just my biggest complaint. Was I felt like they gave too much, and it was too far away for some of the things.
Well, don't worry, folks. There's plenty of things to do in this video game that we so love. And there's plenty of things to talk about this video game with. And we'll be doing that in later episodes of the Carbuncle Chronicle, your podcast for everything awesome in Final Fantasy XIV. So this has been an episode of the Carbuncle Chronicle, edited by me, Basil. How's it going, y'all? Hope you've been enjoying it. The theme song, Inabito, he did the theme for the Awesomecast. It was arranged by Anna for the Carbuncle Chronicle. You can find the website at either awesomecast.com or carbunclechronicle.com. Either way, you can just click on the Carbuncle Chronicle on the Awesomecast website, and you'll find all our episodes, as well as links to our socials. Also, the Gateway Fate panel we did last year, where we talk about all the cool websites you can use that don't break TOS. It's very useful. I use that link all the time to do WTF dig, because I know how to type in awesomecast.com, but WTF dig, those are different letters. Anyways, while you're at the website, you can click on things like our Patreon for the Awesomecast Carbuncle Chronicle, where you can help us pay for server fees. We also have a Discord, which you can go to and talk about Final Fantasy XIV, anime, or all sorts of things. We also have YouTube channels for both the Awesomecast and the Carbuncle Chronicle. Also, please leave us either Apple Podcasts or Spotify reviews. Shout out to the one person who talked about, I think, FanFest stuff as a Spotify comment like a couple months back. So that was really cool to see. And also, extra props to the one person who sent me a tell in Final Fantasy XIV saying that we're based on Trail Enjoyers, and they like that. So go you. Honestly, if you're still listening.
I think they found him during a hunt train.
During a hunt train. That made my day. It really did. You can find us on socials at either carbunclechronicle.com or Carbicast. You can find me places at It's Basil Time. Blue Sky, you can find Anna as Angel Darkfire. The middle A is silent. And Tobias is on Blue Sky at R Tobias. But honestly, they'll tell you, if you really want to talk to us, the best place is the Awesomecast and Carbuncle Chronicle Discord. All right, that's it for this episode. But never, ever forget, you take the Bone Dragon up north. Okay, y'all, before we're done, I do have to say big announcements from friend of the show, Clarissa from Enemy World Order. I just got a message. What the hell was this Hildebrand quest? It was like a Gmod meme video. Hell yeah, Clarissa's getting to the good stuff.
We got her, ladies and gentlemen. We got her.
Yeah.
That's probably all we're going to be talking about Clarissa at Otakon is 14. But Tobias, I don't know if you saw, I had sent it to Basil. There was a Blue Sky post that someone, I think at a convention, they had a thing at their table, I think, and it was like a thing like where, so it was like a survey or a question or something like, where do you tank the boat dragon?
Yeah, it's controversial.
Yeah.
And I sent it to Basil, and I think he shared it on the Blue Sky for Carbuncle Chronicle, but I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, hey, make it up north. Voted for the second option, not cast in the name of Heidelin.
Because I didn't understand that one.
So that's from Big O. It's from the
opening.
Oh,
that's why I didn't understand it.
Englishy thing ever. Because in the show, it says, cast in the name of God, ye not guilty. But in the opening, they say, cast in the name of God, ye not the guilty. We have come to team Big O. It's supposed to mean we have come to terms, but that's not what they say. It says we have come to
Gotcha.
team. So no, the whole thing like just doesn't make sense. But no, it's that's where we're gonna use the second one. My other joke, my initial joke. Someone posted on Anna's, I think it was TikTok. That they
No,
had
it was the big other thing that Tobias. I saw it because Tobias reacted to it on Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, the big O thing? Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
but it was very much up your alley, so I was like, all right, I gotta show it to Basil.
So
So
yeah, I
it's
debated
right up there with the Gundam jokes.
So I might still use that, but no, for the opening, I'm going to use this one.